Hello there, my name is Rachel. I can talk about animation, and today we'll talk about Mystery Island Mogwai. Now, episode 5, episode 6. This two episode was sort of surprising. Episode 5 was a massacre. Episode 6 is sort of more explanation of why the reason why the rules exist about the Mogwai and what their purpose. And that is sort of risky because you don't know to actually properly explain or even make sense in the explanation to help the story along building the characters and also making more sense of everything else. And that's sort of risky because you can easily just screw it up if the explanation does not really make sense, especially with the story. But it does. It's sort of surprising. Each episode just builds more of the lore, understanding the characters and the reason why they have to do certain things. And just sort of interesting, especially how dark this show's going for, especially the evil gremlins, how truly evil they are. I mean, the movies, they're terrifying. I mean, they're just like the chaos, but you don't know if the show can actually equally the same kind of monster they really are as the movies in the animated series. And they do. They really do. Now, episode 5 is basically Elle and Sam, there we go. Sam and Elle basically go to the dark forest and trying to get out of it, but out of nowhere, very vampire zombies in the way they come out. I mean, they're half a Pacific name, but they're basically Chinese zombies, and you kind of weird because you really don't hear them that much here in the West. But I do know a few things about them. The reason why they hop and wear their uniform is because they're dead, but people misunderstood why they actually hop. The original story is basically a coroner trying to move all the dead bodies back in the day to point A to point B. The only problem is it's just so many dead bodies they have to take care of. They decided just sort of time them up as one straight line, wrap them up with baboon with their own arms and legs, and they basically hop to point A to point B to carry all the dead bodies because it's just so many and they don't have enough workers. So someone accidentally passing through see this sort of dead bodies walking. So that's sort of the lore sort of started. Is this the reason why this versions of Chinese zombies jump? It's because they sort of misunderstood why they were jumping. It's just sort of the only way to move the dead bodies to point A to point B. These give you that small facts about Chinese zombies. But besides that, they were sort of terrifying, especially Sam and Elle. They were trying to get out of the dark forest. And they just freaking out, know what to do. And they escaped this room and found this other kid inside this sort of room. And you find out he's been there a little while. A little bit too long because you started talking to a Reddish. And this Reddish kid is just a little bit unhinged. It's something hard to describe. It's like that one kid who laughs at death. Not because he doesn't know how to react. He just disconnected. It almost disturbingly, but yet he's sort of useful in a way. Especially how they figured out how to kill, or not kill, disable the zombie Chinese vampires. They had to use that sort of kind of paper talisman on their faces to basically freeze them where they actually are. Especially you get more lore about this sort of zombies, vampires, Chinese. They get better or more explanation to understand why they are that. And I found it fascinating because I never knew what was the lore. I understand what was the reason why they jump in and how they act, why they wear their clothes, but I never know what was the lore. Yeah, I found that sort of fascinating, interesting. Of course, during this episode, you actually see Sam's own parents trying to figure out how to escape. Especially, you find out the Gremlins escape from prison and now quite literally killed 4 members on the crew, including the captain. And that was sort of terrifying. I mean, it was dark. Especially how the mom, who was the only one who actually two-stepped ahead of anyone, starting masculine. Sorry, I'm starting murder them all the gremlins like the first movie. I mean, it was a massacre. She went all Rambo, them slicing and dicing. Especially Sam's dad, trying to figure it out. Also, he's kind of slow, but he's trying to pick up and helping his wife killing all this SOBs. But they accidentally find a wand that hopefully kill Mr. Green or at least stop him for a little while. But it's something they sort of risk it all to understand the precision, especially the situation, the whole boat takeover by gremlins. And one of them, they started calling him Mr. Claw or Mrs. Claw, who want to basically take over the world in a way, not take over, more go to country, destroy it just because of the fun of it. And you see this sort of build up how Sam's parents and the Gremlins go at it till Mr. Green out of nowhere just snap his fingers and have basically control of everything. I mean, Mr. Green is not a disappointing villain. He started beginning to be my top 10 best villains of this year because how chill and terrifying and dominant he really is. And just so well written, just enjoyable. Especially how once more he kind of kept everything under control. He actually make an interesting deal with the Gremlins that you get his chip, you get whatever you want, you just help me. If you don't, I kill you all. That's simple. And I love it how smooth the story Mr. Green really is, and he delivers his own threats. I mean, he is a class A villain. You just enjoy his terrifying, especially episode 5. They went dark. I mean, wow. The massacre, the murder, the zombies. I was sort of surprised and shocked they went this hard as a family sort of grim fairy tale style of storytelling that was shocking. I mean, whoa, that was a little bit too hard, but yet I still enjoy it. Now, episode 6 was also very interesting because after Sam and Elle, and they actually bring the Radish Kid with them, actually convincing them, like, you can stay here, be crazy, you go with us, be crazy, but still have someone to talk to besides the radish he has in his hands. And he agrees, and you think the Radish Kid will be sort of useless because it's sort of hard to make each character useful episode by episode. No, the kid puts his own weight, especially how things went down because Sam, Elle, and Radish Kid go to the mystical city or the dead city. In other words, they're trying to understand what's going on, how find the key to help Gizmo to get out. Goes to his own safe place. In other words, but during this time, Mr. Green and the Gremlins got there at the same time, and both of them are just trying to find where is the key. And this is where the lore started to be more interesting about Gizmo because Gizmo knows where to go, and Gizmo shows how important Gizmo really is in sort of the magic world, that he can actually open magical gates with his own singing. Once again, little things like that, when I'm telling you, builds the lore a little bit, and you see how interesting and reliable Gizmo really is. Sort of magic sort of positions. That's just sort of interesting. But I love it. They made it more interesting when Gizmo opens the door and Sam, Elle, and the Cabbage Kid pass through the door. The other Gremlins can't go in there. Even they attempted to sing like Gizmo, they cannot sing because they're chained so much. And only one, because Mr. Gray find out only one of them can actually open the door. But even that, he had to be gifted. Lucky for them, they have one to actually open the gate. It's sort of surprising. But besides that, you actually find more interesting about Gizmo because you find out he was built for a test of human beings because the guys of creation, or at least one of the siblings who created of this universe, actually built Gizmo for a test. Just to see humans can actually be trustworthy, they actually have meaning or reason to exist, they're not evil. Unfortunately, she lost because the deal was if they can actually protect this sort of gremlin while being eaten, fed, the rest of the rules. That they know how to take care of it, they have a reason to exist. But unfortunately, she lost because people be people. Like, doesn't matter where you go, They're always incompetent, untrustworthy. They greed just take over, and the reason why the whole city was destroyed. This is the reason why the goddess who created it kinda is ashamed of herself because she trusts too much humans. Now she's sort of drunk. And I love about that because goddess of creation feels like a real person, but like goddess version of it. That she's a half human, half snake. She's sort of dreading to face her own brother because she failed, and she just stayed there for hundreds of years in the bar till Gizmo reappears. He started talking to him to convince him to give her the key to go back home. But instead of giving the key, she just goes straight at him. Look, I give you the door. Here's the door. Just pass through. Everything is over. But the condition is you have to get rid of the humans. In fact, she has no respect as human beings, that she prefer them to be slaves than anything else. And that's fair. I mean, come on. Being human, we're not the greatest in the world. But besides that, once in a while, we can be awesome. I mean, I have to say that. But I love it how Gizmo tried to stand his own 2 feet of the goddess. Like, no, they're not terrible. They're complicated, but yet they're still good creatures. You know, that sort of half conversation because we don't understand Gizmo only the goddess, and the goddess is the only one who speaks normal languages you understand. But you understand the emotion and feelings. What Gizmo want to help Sam and Elle and the reddish kid to actually join him and basically reward them becoming good friends. But at the same time, Elle being Elle, how she's a thief, she want to go in the secret location of all the Mogwai to get treasure. I mean, this is the reason why the goddess doesn't like humans, and Elle is not really helping. But at the same time, everything went wrong because Mr. Green finds the way to pass the door and destroy all the magical creatures to get to the goddess. And he also poisoned her. And that's sort of surprising how intelligent Mr. Green is and how cutthroat. Especially, he sort of accidentally helped a gremlin grab intelligence. Not intelligence, more the gremlin knows how to talk. But almost like Gremlins 2, if you've seen the sequel, there's a character who actually talks. And FYI, Gremlins 2 is still a good movie. It's not as good as the first one, but it's still enjoyable. I still defend the sequel just to make you basically understand my opinion. This not words. I'm sorry, I'm sort of stuttering right now. But besides that, everything ends. The goddess sort of half dead. They're about to be attacked by the Gremlins. And Mr. Green will get whatever he wants. And the episode ends there as a cliffhanger. And boy, it was a cliffhanger. It was a twist turn I was not expecting. But yet, it was just so good. I mean, I have never seen a show hit that hard. Make things sense. Especially very old property. And make a very grim story. It feels right. I mean, it's sort of hard to see a show do this so good. It's very rare to base a anime series on a movie that actually as good as the movie. How rare that is, you don't believe. But besides that, I have a great blast. If you like this 2 episodes, do you hit it? Tell me down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.